Good? Okay. All right. Good morning. Welcome to Second Saturdays at the studio. I'm Elizabeth Debban. Today we are going to explore narrative jewelry. So the idea behind Second Saturdays is that it's a design spark. So I'm not giving you any technique demos. I'm just here to kind of spark your imagination and help you come up with like a creative design or a technique that you could apply to your jewelry making. So what I'm here to share today is kind of an interactive activity. So what you need is something to write with and something to write on. It could be just any scrap paper. It doesn't have to be your sketchbook. So that's where we're going to start. So if you're here in the studio and you need a piece of paper, you can come and grab one from me. Do you need one? Give me a moment. There you go. Does anyone else need one? Okay, great. And people online, you are welcome to join us for Second Saturdays here live in the studio, and then stick around for open studio afterwards. We are here until what time today?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock today. Perfect. So you can take whatever you learned in this Second Saturdays and apply it to your own work. A little bit about my background. I'm currently a high school art teacher, and I teach jewelry as one of my classes. This is actually the project, part of the project that my students are currently working on now and finishing up. So let's talk about what narrative is first. So narrative is telling a story. So it's usually engaging. It offers the audience or wearer the opportunity to read a piece of jewelry that's designed to relate to an event or describe an action. So I'm going to set the timer for 3 minutes and switch over to my slideshow. And you have 3 minutes. I want you to write about something that happened that changed or had an impact on your life. It could be anything from a funny story to a person, but I just want you to write something. You're not going to have to share it, so this is just for you. So I'm going to be quiet and set a timer for 3 minutes, and I want you to write about anything that changed your life, had an impact on your life, a funny story, something interesting. All right, go. If you just joined us online, you're writing on a scrap piece of paper or in your sketchbook about an event, something that happened that changed or had an impact on your life. If your brain gets stuck, just try to force it to keep writing. You can start writing about a different event. We have about 1.5 minutes. Keep writing, keep writing. right, finish the thought you're on. Okay, so now flip the page over or draw a line and write underneath it. Now I'm going to set the timer for 3 more minutes. And I want you to write about that same something as if you're there right now. So how does it feel to be there? What were your emotions? What did it smell like? How did you feel? You could just write about one little part as if you're there in that moment right now. How you're feeling, how it smells, all that stuff. So 3 more minutes, go. All right, finish the thought you're on. Sometimes I just get so into it, I want to keep writing. And you can always revisit this if you want. Okay, so now for 1 minute, I want you to underline any imagery, any feelings, any symbols, or any words that just pop out to you or are really exciting. So go back to both things you wrote and just anything that pops out. I want you to underline, circle, just make it noticeable. So 1 minute to underline these things.
So feeling the emotions and words?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. if you have words or concepts that repeat, underline those things as well. All right, finish finding your symbols. Okay, so this is the last sketchbook part. So for 3 minutes, I want you to think of any imagery or symbols that go with as many of your words as possible. These are just fast sketches. They can be ugly and only you know what they are. I'm really good at drawing stick people and little scribble drawings in my sketchbook, even though I have a major in drawing. So these can be ugly, but just taking these words and turning them into imagery, okay? So 3 minutes, sketch out as many of these underlined words as possible. Finish the sketch you're on. It's okay if you don't have one for each one. So now, look for relationships, okay? Do you see any similar or related imagery in your sketches? Do you see any recurring images that you might want to use or that you're really drawn to? Okay, so circle or star or put a little star by any of the ideas, imagery that you really like. We'll just do like 30 seconds for these. All right, so now you can take a break. Put down your pencil, set yourself to the side. So now let's look at what some other artists do for narrative jewelry. This ideation process that we just kind of went through is a way that I kind of lead my students through the idea process. You can do this for any media, from painting, drawing, printmaking, sculpture, jewelry making, whatever, just to kind of give yourself a design spark. Sometimes I've always found with jewelry making, like, the hardest part is get started. Like, what am I going to make? So here is just one way that you guys can kind of start thinking about where your ideas could come from to challenge yourself in your jewelry making, to have an idea or a meaning behind your pieces. So here's some pieces that I've found online just of other artists' work who combine different symbols in a way that could tell a story. Now, I don't know for sure that these are narrative pieces, but I really thought that these artists did a great job of combining different imagery and symbols. I like that this one has some recognizable imagery, but it also has some more abstract kind of designs, patterns that might symbolize someone's feelings or actions, something happening at the time. There are also a lot of these really beautiful shadow boxes that kind of more explicitly tell stories. I like that a lot of these also use mixed material. I love that this one incorporates like photographs, so you could actually like do a photo transfer. You can think outside of the box, use materials other than metal. Also thinking outside the box, the idea of layers. Kind of creating layers and contrast. This one looks like an enameled piece in the background with some metal on top. It's really nice playful imagery with recognizable images. We have other animals incorporated. Kind of thinking about the shadow box idea outside of the box. Okay. Here are other little snippets. These almost remind me of like children's picture books and scenes from pages of those. If you're kind of stuck with getting ideas, that's always a good place to start. Like, I love going in the children's books section and flipping through those pages so you can get inspiration. You can even challenge yourself to illustrate one of those pages through your jewelry work. I love the negative space on this one, like the shadow as the girl's running. And like I said, if you don't like your own story, you can pick one that you know, or pick something to, like a recognizable story, like Little Red Riding Hood. So here's the assignment that I give my students. You guys don't have to do this, but it's to create a narrative brooch or pendant that represents or tells their story. So I tell them that they can be like explicit and spell out the story, or they could be symbolic and a little abstract, because some of these students had very personal stories that they weren't really comfortable with sharing in the school setting, but they really wanted to make art with it as a way to kind of deal with that and process it. Here's some student examples. These are high schoolers who've kind of done this project before. This girl playing with the idea of identity, and I think that says she was from Ecuador and moved to Georgia, and kind of who she is on either side. This one was a student whose brother had Crohn's disease and kind of how that impacted her family. I really love the kind of two-sided jewelry pieces where there's a front and a back, kind of a hidden story. This girl is talking about kind of her music journey and all of the different instruments she learned to play: piano, violin, ukulele, guitar, and combining and stacking those. Okay. Other students kind of doing more symbolic things. Some of these, I'm not sure about the story, and that's okay. And I gave students a challenge level that they could do movable or removable parts where the front and back tells part of the story. So I have some students doing, right now they're working on this project, they're doing like little movable pieces or spinning charms, or they have something on the back that's like a hidden image. So if they're wearing it as like a necklace, they have the part that they show to the world and then the part that's close to themselves. So that is kind of your spark and your second Saturday for the month. I hope this inspires you to kind of think outside the box or challenge you to do something different and out of your comfort zone with your jewelry. So if you are inspired to create, we're here for Open Studio today until 6, and you can find the Open Studio schedule on the website and on social media. And that's it. Thank you guys for coming. Yay. Good. Finish. Thank you. Please stop.